Pull up. Alright guys, hello and welcome to this class of Ableton Live. Thank you for coming out. My name is Rasmus Kjærbo, and today we'll take a form of a demonstration, as this video is going to be used for a demo purpose for the application for the Ableton exam. So that's why we have the cameras and everything set up here. Thank you to the cameraman. And what I want to go over today is two of my favorite things in both music production and especially in Ableton, because they got it right. And first and foremost, it's the backbone of basically every contemporary track that's composed. And if I ask you what are one of the most basic elements of a track? Yes, louder.
Drums.
Exactly, drums. We need the rhythm section. It's our sonic backbone. It's what connects all the peripheral stuff to the rest of the track. So first and foremost, we're going to go over drum programming with MIDI, and also playing in the drums with MIDI quantization, which is really awesome, because if you're a little bit sloppy, the computer can correct it to the grid. And secondly, I want to go over another rhythmic element of a song, which is not drums, and that's arpeggios. Arpeggios can add a lot of spice to your track, and if I were to give the arpeggio like a bodily function, it would be, I don't know, the aura or something, maybe the face, I'm not sure. But anywho, let's get started with this. I have Ableton opened up here on my set. This is a fresh Ableton set that I modified just a little bit. You can change the default template in Ableton, and what I find for my music production is that I usually need 2 audio tracks for resampling and 2 MIDI tracks for programming stuff and using instruments and vice versa. So first and foremost, my live devices. I'm going to go into my instruments, and today we're going to program drums in the drum rack, which is totally on crack. You can use drum racks for basically anything. You can put in samplers, you can put in synthesizers, you can put in other drum racks. I'm not really gonna I don't want to encourage you to do that, because it can get pretty recursive pretty fast. But let's jump into the kits, and a kit that I really enjoy programming with is the granular stretch kit. And I'm going to drag it over to a MIDI track. I was going to load it up once my trusty little laptop gets going. All right. So what we see here is 127 cells of MIDI, where we have the individual sounds represented by a name, and of course the corresponding sound. Let's get a beat going. I've already auditioned some of these sounds. And as you can hear, they're pretty lush, these sounds. It's not just a boring, straight up, dry sound in your face. And this is actually one of the great things about the drum rack. Take, for example, this guy, our hi-hat. So this is a group with 8 macros in Ableton, and I can use, there we go. I can use this group to change parameters as I like, and they're actually already mapped to some other stuff. Let's see here, the grain amount. So it's fairly easy to tweak these sounds, and the drum rack comes with a built-in, like you can add, I don't want to say infinite, I'm not sure, but you can add a bunch of return tracks where you can have effects on. So for example, I have a reverb here, and if I take these guys off, you can hear it's a totally different thing. This is like, wow, listen to that sound. It's like, where's all the soul? Where's all the karma? We can see up here that we're clipping at the moment. Clipping is not good. I'm gonna press the Shift-Tab key to give me some more screen real estate up here. And here we see all, this is really a nifty trick. Put down the volume a bit. this guy up here, it lets you expand the drum rack group, which is, it's comparable to having a submix of all your drums, but I don't have to make the submix because it's already been done for me. And you can see each individual element in here. I noticed that my kick drum is slightly panned to the left. I would like it to be dead center to give me more sonic powers. So I'm gonna more or less mono it. I can see there's some effects going on here, but we'll leave it like that. My two snare elements are panned to the right. I would like them to be opposite. So one's gonna be left and one's gonna be slightly to the right. Not too much, again, to preserve the sonic power of these elements. I'm also going to bring them down accordingly. So I'm selecting both tracks and bringing the volume down. Okay, we see not clipping anymore. This guy's a bit loud. Okay, fairly well. We can always bring down the volume of the whole submix. There we go. So we have a good sketch going here. The thing is, I think we're gonna get bored with this eventually. So we have to introduce some variation. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select all the MIDI notes in here by hitting Command A. You see the length down here. I'm gonna double it from 1 to 2. So we have double the length now. I'm gonna hold down the Option key and drag these guys out. So we now have a perfect duplicate of our MIDI clip. And we need some variation. Yeah, this guy's good. What I've programmed here is a fairly broken beat. It's not our straight 4 to the floor beat. And what we need, or not, what is a good thing to do for a listener is give them a rhythmic anchor. So we can have our beat drift off and be as broken as we like, but it's pretty important to have a rhythmic element that keeps our listener kind of locked in to the rhythm as our metronome. We can adjust the volume of the metronome here, by the way. So live comes with a really good selection of percussion elements, and you can use percussion to create syncopation, or you can use it as an anchor. I think I'm just gonna program this guy in. And if we go to Edit and go to Record Quantization, we can select 16th note quantization to keep it on the beat. Okay, I'm gonna activate the override button, which means that I'm gonna overdub the MIDI. You see now when I press stuff, doesn't matter what I do, I'm just auditioning the sounds. I'm not actually recording what I'm doing, so I can fool around. But once this guy's activated, I'm gonna overdub. Let's just, for the sake of it, throw in a quick bass, because that's the other part of the rhythmic section. So I'm gonna throw in Analog, which is a physically modeling synthesizer of Ableton Live. It has some amazing sounds. And since we're doing the dub reggae stuff, I'm gonna select the sine wave you see down here. So we get a nice low frequency, not very rich on harmonics kind of sound. And I would like it to be sustained. So I'm gonna put up the sustain on the envelope here. I'm also gonna give it a little bit more attack, just to make sure that I'm not seeing any clicks or anything. I'm gonna give it some glide and legato, again, for avoiding the clips. And I'm gonna put the voices to mono. As we're doing bass, we don't want the bass to clutter up if for any reason, sloppy MIDI programming or whatever, that we have overlapping MIDI regions. Activating glide and legato mode means that the pitch is going to slightly shift from one pitch to another if they're overlapping, and it's only going to be one note because the voicing is set to mono. Had it been set to 2, we could play 2 consecutive notes, or not 2 simultaneous notes, or 3, or etc. Right? I'm gonna record Armid down here, and we are hearing a fat bass. Let's just go for a basic cadence or the like of it. If you right-click the metronome, you can set the count into 1 bar, giving you a little heads up on when the recording is going to start. So let's hit it. I'm just playing on MIDI keyboard. And I'm gonna click play, and it's gonna sync it. There we go, jamming out. And there was a little bit of sloppiness here. I'm gonna correct this. If I press the fold button, I'm gonna limit the view to only be the notes that I have actually programmed MIDI for. So it's giving you a great overview. I'm gonna drag this guy out like this, and this is a pretty straight up bass line. Not super exciting yet, but we can add some things to it. Just before we're going to the arpeggiator, I'm gonna drop in audio effect, and it's gonna be the overdrive, because if we deactivate this guy and we look at the spectrum, we can analyze our audio, and there's a bit of harmonics, not a lot of harmonics, but if I turn off my overdrive, we get a bunch of harmonics, so we can make, we can give our bass line a bit more grit and character. This is too much though, so I'm gonna turn down. We just want, you hear the difference from this and before where we're almost killing the small speakers. A good trick is that if you're gonna play your stuff, your bass heavy music on not bass heavy systems, if you add harmonics and overtones to it, it's easier for smaller speakers to produce sounds that are higher and richer up in the frequency spectrum. So instead of having our straight up sine fundamental at, I don't know, like 200 hertz or something like that, 100 hertz, it would choke these speakers. So this is a nifty trick if your music is going to be played on laptop speakers or wherever, or headphones and the like. So we're going to keep it like this. I'm going to zoom in like this, and we use our music theory. So I know that I want to make a chord out of this, and my fundamental here is the C. So I'm selecting everything with Command A, holding down the Option key. I am putting a row of notes, and you see how each note is moving according, they're maintaining their relationship, right? So I'm going to put it here, and now we have a harmony. Going to do it again, and we have a triplet chord. We are. This might not be as groovy as you want it to be, but it comes when you mess around with these parameters. What we can do now is we can record on it, and we can record this MIDI information. Because the MIDI information here is our chords, and we don't see the arpeggio here. But if I record here, you're going to see it in a moment. Whoop! There you go. And that means you can go in and you can change the arpeggio as it is. That you have total freedom of the arpeggio. I mean, from now on it's just like playing around with Legos and then getting your stuff into the arrangement. So yeah, if there's any questions, you are welcome to shoot on now. Otherwise, I want to say thank you for coming out and watching this demo. I look forward to hearing some nice arpeggiated bells and overdriven analog sounds. It was a pleasure to show you this, and yeah, thank you for this time.